I know this seems really dramatic, but this is what my vanity looks like on a daily basis, and I want to change that. I haven't actually decided on the title yet, but welcome to my dream Pinterest vanity makeover on a budget. Because I'm doing this on a budget, I can't just like go out and buy organizers. I have done that in the past, and that's how I've ended up with like these palette organizers and like one of those like clear acrylic things with the shelves that spin. Those ended up not working out very well for me, so I got rid of them. I just need to know what I have that needs to be organized. So I am taking stock of what I have before I do anything else. I'm taking stock, I'm gonna declutter. I actually want to keep most of the products that I have. I'm not interested in getting rid of a ton, but I more so want to like declutter the packaging. I'll have to show you what I mean, but I am starting with palettes and powders. One thing I really need to fix up here is the lighting. Right now, it's not too bad. This is about the best it gets in the day, and I have maybe 10 more minutes of this lighting. So I'm gonna move this to my office.
The trees, they are singing to the tune of a song, and the wind is gently ringing the bell that brings the morning, the welcome of the dawn.
So you might be able to guess what I'm doing. I am depotting. This palette is magnetic, it's double-sided, which is really, really nice, and it has this plastic divider between it in case maybe I wanted to do like powders and then creams or something like that. I have extra pans in case I need more, magnets for the back of the pan so they'll stick, handy little tool. I also have a butter knife and then some pins just in case this isn't small enough. Okay, it is the next day. That was really boring, took forever. But I got almost all of the eyeshadows and powders depotted out of their packaging. I was also figuring out how to repair some of the shadows that I broke. And if you remember this was completely shattered. I fixed it. Now, something I want to do, and I know this is kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but I want to put together a little makeup beauty touch-up bag for my purse, and I really want to bring some powder, some setting powder. I do not use powder on a regular basis. However, I found it works really, really well for me as dry shampoo, so I will be using it for that. But the only time I actually use or would like to use this for my face is when I'm outside, it's summer, I'm sweating, and my sunglasses are leaving like, you know, those little marks right on your nose. But since I want to put this in my purse, I had the idea of putting it in this little blush container because it has a little mirror. I absolutely hate the blush that is in here. I've tried to use it, it's very chunky. Not a fan of that, so I think I'm just gonna scrape this out. Okay, it is cleaned out as best as I could get it. I got rubbing alcohol in my eye yesterday, so gotta wear eye protection. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? So one of the reasons my vanity gets so messy, besides the fact I'm incapable of putting things away after I use them, is because I'm always using stuff from at least 5 different palettes. Like, none of my favorite things are all together. So having one palette where I have all of my eyeshadows, that's going to be amazing. But also, I'm very much an out of sight, out of mind person. I don't think I have an insane amount of makeup, but I definitely have quite a bit, and I don't use it as much as I would like. Because I tend to stick to the same few palettes, I forget about a lot of like the fun colors that I have. So having everything or most of all of my stuff in one place will also be really helpful, just where I can see it. Part of giving my vanity, you know, my dream Pinterest makeover, part of that is being able to keep it somewhat clean. So I think what I spent, like $70 so far, I think it's been well spent, and I think it's way better than buying like those like plastic palette organizers, if you know what I'm talking about. I used to have one. When I was working my first job as a barista, I tried really hard to save all of my money, but I was getting really into makeup. So the only thing I allowed myself to spend money on, besides like gas and stuff, was the like $10 Ipsy subscription bag and I think it was also $10 Allure beauty box. Now, I wouldn't do that today because now I do know what I like. But back when I was trying to figure out what I liked, what I didn't, that was actually so incredibly helpful. And I found one of my favorite shadows ever, which is this gold one that's almost gone. This is Natasha Denona. I have no idea what color it is. The name wore off of the packaging, but I've had that maybe 7 years now, and it shattered this year, and I was so mad about that because now I only have a little bit left, which is still gonna last me quite a while. But I was doing research because I didn't know like what it was, found out it was Natasha Denona, didn't know who that was. And for Christmas, I asked for the Natasha Denona gold palette or golden palette. I haven't had the heart to depot these yet. What's nice is the Natasha Denona ones, they have these little things in the back so you just stick a pin in and the shadows pop out. I think they're all magnetic. If I choose to depot them and then I want to put them back in, I think I'll have that option to do that. So I may just hang on to, the empty palette. A lot of the makeup that I have came from the Allure and Ipsy beauty box and bag subscription. And it's just like crazy to think I've had some of this makeup for 7 years and still have hardly made a dent in it. Not because I don't like it, but just because it takes forever to get through, especially how I use it. I use my makeup pretty conservatively. I'm not like taking my brush and like really pressing really hard into, the eyeshadows. Oh, one of the reasons I didn't decide to depot this bronzer is because I'm afraid it's gonna shatter again. Okay, this part is going to be way more fun. I'm going to go through and label and put magnets on the pans. I know I said I didn't really want to declutter too much, but when I'm taking like individual pans out like this, I realize I'm getting rid of a lot more than I thought I was going to. So you can actually see with these what I'm talking about. I put a little magnet on the back and labeled it so I know what it is. These were singles. These are both from Ipsy, I think. This blush is from Ipsy. This is Sugar. This palette is actually magnetic, so I can test to see if they're magnetic before putting on the magnetic stickers. This is a highlighter I also got from Ipsy or Allure. From the Too Faced Cat Eye palette, I am getting rid of these. From this palette, I am keeping the black one with a little purple glitter in it. The purple with the purple glitter and the brown with like the green glitter in it. I'm getting rid of these other like pastel shades. I'm keeping 2 of the e.l.f. eyeshadows from the little 4 eyeshadow thing. I am keeping all of the shadows from the See It London palette. This was an Ipsy or an Allure one. Actually, I did break one, but it was just like a brown that I had like a million of, so it was fine. And I'm keeping all of them except for the turquoise on the end. This highlighter, also from Ipsy or Allure. From Park Ave Princess, I am keeping all of the brown, the bronzing ones. I'm getting rid of the highlighting. I'm keeping all the ones from the Too Faced Secret Santa palette. I really like this palette. This is another one I got from Ipsy or Allure. This is Wander Beauty. I also got this like bronzing palette from, again, it was Ipsy or Allure. I can't remember which one I got what from. It's Ace Beauty. This is one of the Tarte collaborations. This was with Hannah Meloche. This was what I took to travel for the longest time, even though I really don't like the formula. The glitters are very chunky. But out of this, I am going to keep the matte brown and the shimmer bronzer. I'm getting rid of most of the shades in this palette as well. This is Pinky Promise from Violet Voss. I'm also going to be keeping the Urban Decay Born to Run, about all of the shades. The only one I'm not keeping is one that shattered a long time ago, which was the green Wanderlust, and then the gray. I am literally never going to use gray. I'm keeping 3 from the Too Faced Cocoa Contour palette. I'm obviously keeping all of the ones from this. I will depot them. I am getting rid of, sadly, the Urban Decay Wired. I like the colors that are not safe for your eyes. That purple is beautiful, but it stains like crazy, at least on me. Okay, welcome back up here. It is a new day. This feels like it is never ending, but I want to take stock of what I have so I know what I need to organize. And while I do that, I thought it would be probably a good time to deep clean the vanity itself, and then also wipe down all of the products, because after, repotting and stuff, like everything is just covered in makeup. I'm gonna make a big pile on the floor of all of my products. And I'm hoping I can find something to declutter, even though that's not really my goal. I do like what I have, but I'm sure there's something in here that I don't use, is expired. There's definitely stuff that's expired.
I've never identified as a high maintenance or overly girly girl, so I feel kind of weird about always needing a vanity, but genuinely, having my own vanity has always been one of my favorite things. I love having a vanity. I love having a dedicated place to do my makeup and hair, and I love that that place is just mine and only for getting ready. When I was younger, just getting into makeup, my mom gave me her old vanity. I loved it, but eventually I did get rid of it. I was homeschooled, so I had a desk in my room. So with that and a dresser and a vanity, my room was just really cramped. So I kept the desk and turned that into like a makeshift vanity. And that's what I did throughout my teens and early 20s. I knew I wanted a true vanity in the future. So after buying this house, I was trying to figure out the best place for it. And if you watch my moving video, you know that I tried out a few different setups. About a year after buying the house, I finally decided on this desk in this corner of the room. And so far I've been really happy with it. But as like a fun winter activity, I thought it would be good to give this a little, like I said before, dream Pinterest makeover. Now, I know I mentioned having a budget, and I'm not gonna be counting the mirror, the desk, and the stool towards that, but if you're curious, the stool was about $20 at a thrift store. The desk I got on eBay, it was damaged, and I think I got it for about $150. And then the mirror was an Amazon return. The mirror was actually for the bathroom, but it ended up not fitting, and it was past the return date, so we put it up here, and I think it works well in the space. I don't know how much this was, but I think if I'm remembering correctly, this mirror was around $80 to $100 after the discount. Obviously, organizing, decluttering, taking stock of what I have is just the first part of the vanity makeover. I'll talk about the budget more in the next video when I go thrifting. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. So I completely lost the light again, but here are my categories. These are the empty containers I have. Makeup bags, tea tins, random stuff I think I might be able to use for organizing. I have my makeup brushes. I am keeping all of these. I already went through them. My fragrances. Obviously, there is the palette. These are my foundations and concealers, primers, and things you put under makeup. Makeup I have that didn't go in the palette. I actually melted down this blush and this highlighter for the travel palette I want to make. I'm keeping these on a plate so I don't accidentally lose them. Skincare. I actually think this might be expired, so I'm going to get rid of this. And I like to keep this one at my desk so I remember to actually put it on throughout the day. My skin is very dry. These are my lotions and like skin moisturizers. I like to keep this at my desk so I do remember to put it on my lips. Yes, this is a giant bottle. And I think I want to keep this in the bathroom. My makeup tools, mascaras. These are pencils and eyeliners. I think I'm going to get rid of this one. This is the e.l.f. one, the one for brows. I just don't use it and I don't like the color enough to use it as a liner. I'll also be getting rid of this one. I also don't like the color. Lip products, makeup removers. I think I want to keep all the stuff for depotting up here with my makeup. My manicure, pedicure stuff. These are headbands that hold back your hair. I will be getting rid of these. They are too tight. Like they actually hurt when I put them on, unfortunately. I have these oil absorbing sheets. I have a ton of jewelry and I would love to figure out how to actually keep it out, or else I literally will not remember to wear it. This stuff is random, but safety pins, and scotch tape, because scotch tape is really good for getting broken eyeshadows off of other eyeshadows, you know, like the dust gets on another eyeshadow. This is great for picking that up. These are empty containers that might be useful. This is not empty, but they are expired, and I thought the container was really cute. I've got a lot of hair stuff. Hello, it is a new day. I want to put together the little palettes that I want to make. First one, pretty easy. I want to make this into my travel palette. I'm not going to put too much in it, just a little blush and highlight for now. But the reason I chose this palette is because it is magnetic and there's a ton of space. So I should be able to fit like almost everything I need. Like that fits my blush and highlight. I could easily get eyeshadow in here, contour bronze, and I'd have space for other little things like bobby pins would be a good one to put in here. And the mirror on this is very, very nice. One thing I don't love is that the clasp is broken, so I will just need to, when I travel, just put a hair tie around this or something and it should be fine. So while I was going through and organizing all of my stuff, like storing it out into piles, I was putting things aside that I knew I wanted to go in my little purse kit. So starting off with things that are not makeup first. I have this mini deodorant and mini hand cream, a few different sizes of band-aids. I think these are good to have in general, but specifically for blisters. Pad, a makeup remover wipe, oil absorbing sheets, a bunch of clear little hair ties, bobby pins, safety pins, some hair ties, earrings, mini perfume. And then of course I have makeup. Now, the idea is that maybe I'm out. I'm not expecting to go somewhere nice, and then someone suggests we go to a nice dinner. What can I use that's in my purse to create a makeup look? So I will be testing it out now. I have no makeup on, and we'll see if these products will work. Oh, I guess this isn't makeup, but this is the e.l.f. Shape and Stay Brow Pencil. This is literally just like wax in a stick. I don't use it for my eyebrows, but the perfect use case for this is for like flyaways when I'm driving with my windows down. Okay, so first I guess I have a little concealer. I live kind of by a liquidation store, so I was able to get this for $3. They always have a lot of drugstore makeup there. I have to say, I don't love this one. It does smell like paint just a little bit. I don't love how this looks on my forehead, but it does work pretty well for under my eyes. Surprisingly, it's a perfect shade match. I'm really trying to not put foundation in this kit. I also bought this e.l.f. concealer brush. I've been into doing lips, like lining my lips. I've never been able to because I always looked like a clown when I did that, but I found out I think I have a double lip line. I want to carry around a little concealer brush so I can just fix that up if I decide to wear that out. I have a few different lip products. I have the Burt's Bees pomegranate chapstick. I love this. I'm actually already wearing this. And if I do like a lip liner lipstick combo, I only have one lip liner, so I'd have to remember to throw it in my purse, but all three of my lipsticks are kind of the same shade. This is a Betty Boop and Ipsy collab, and I got this in one of the Ipsy bags. And then I usually do a lip gloss. This is one of the e.l.f. lip glosses. It wasn't clear, but I always put this over lipstick, so it has become tinted pink. And then I have the Clinique Black Honey. I don't wear this all the time, even though I love the color. It just dries out my lips a lot. So I think having it in my purse will be a good place for it. Like, it's just so pretty. I'm hoping too this can double as a blush, because I don't know how sanitary this is, but like, it's mine. It's okay. I usually don't put too much blush, so just a little bit is perfect. Oh, this is, I have two of these actually. This is an e.l.f. concealer. It is my summer shade when I am at my darkest. So I was thinking I could mix this with the other concealer I have to get the right shade, since the CoverGirl concealer is like my winter color. Okay, I feel like I kind of need a bronzer and maybe like an eyeshadow shimmer. Okay, so for bronzer, I have that matte Hannah Meloche shade. It'll double really well as an eyeshadow too. I have this e.l.f. bronzing brush and also this blending eye brush. I have a lot of makeup brushes. I actually have a lot of duplicates except the concealer ones. I do have a lot of concealer ones, but I use them for a lot of other things, like one's dedicated to like eyeliner and others dedicated to like shimmers. That's why I needed to buy another one. And then I have this Too Faced shimmer for mascara. I have this Too Faced ribbon wrapped lash. And then, of course, I have the powder that I pressed. This is the mini little Hello Kitty puff. It's absolutely adorable. Oh, yep, that works. And it should be able to fit right in there. Yeah, it got a little flattened, but I think that'll work pretty well. The one thing I'm really sad that I can't get in here is an eyeliner, because I wear eyeliner like every single day. I know realistically, if I'm trying to do this in the car, on the go, I'm gonna mess it up. So I think for my own sanity, no eyeliner. So this is my everyday purse, and I'm looking at all of this stuff and realizing it may not all fit. I was able to consolidate most of my stuff over to one side. The original idea was that if I had to switch purses, all I'd have to take is like one bag and that would have all of this. I don't think that's going to happen. So first, I guess I need to figure out what needs to be contained, like these shadows. I did save a highlighter container, and I do have this Altoids box. I also kept this palette, the Too Faced Cat Eyes. I also saved this Too Faced one, which I really like. I just cannot figure out how to get this part out. Oh yeah, I also have these mints. I think this Altoids tin might be perfect for bobby pins and hair ties and stuff, and keep my earrings in here. That's not gonna work. Okay, I may just have to accept that this isn't going to work, but I don't want to do that. I pressed a powder for this and everything. So I think what I'm gonna do is try to clean out my purse a little bit, even though I really don't carry too much in here. So I have this mini Milwaukee tape measure, and I'm thinking I could hook that to the outside of my purse. And I've seen people on Pinterest do this, where they take a lotion and punch a little hole in the top so they can hang it on, you know, their keychain. Okay, definitely not the cutest, but it is on. I can't believe it fits. So the only thing I wasn't able to fit in were the oil absorbing sheets, which actually, it does fit, but I would like it to be in here, but maybe that's asking for too much. Okay, I am not done, unfortunately. I need to get the shadows in here. So, okay, I was having a little bit of trouble getting the adhesive off, so I will have to keep working on that. But first, I just want to make sure this works. I lost my hot glue gun in the move, so I have this double-sided tape, and I want to see if this works. Oh, it's in there. Great, that works. That makes it easy. And if I ever wanted to add one more, there's space for it. Cute! So this is what's left. This is what I have to organize. I actually trimmed down quite a lot. Really consolidating my palettes has helped tremendously. I mean, I haven't really worked out of it too much, but just storage wise, I already have way more space. Of course, I have some of these still, which are the empty palettes that I may use and I want to hang on to, but I don't have to have like easy access to these, which is great. Knowing what I have to organize gives me a really good starting point for figuring out what I have to buy. So thrifting for the decorations, decorating, organizing, that's all going to be in the next video. All right, that's all I've got. I will see you in the next one. Bye.